Welcome back, everybody. So this week, not much actually happened in War Thunder. I might actually make a video covering a few things that did. However, there were quite a few things happening for Enlisted. Well, they've been happening for the last few months. So I thought that now is a prime opportunity to cover in on all this detail. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. Myself and others were anticipating a open test to be held on the 6th of June, as there was many pictures of a D-Day map that had already been shown years prior, in fact. But unfortunately, there was not. However, they did release a few dev blogs on the date and leading up to the date. The first one being about how they are improving the AI of your squad. They originally had this agrometer hazard accumulation system, but that wasn't fulfilling what they were wanting out of the AI squad members, so they have a new Unity function algorithm and machine learning to assist. What this means to us, the players, is essentially the AI soldiers will be able to respond to the rapidly changing battle environment better. It's still development, but they want to make it so the AI is able to react to whatever position they are in, whether they're attacking or defending. So they don't just shoot the nearest or easiest to shoot target, but pick out the important ones, like a machine gun nest or an enemy with a Panzerfaust about to shoot a allied tank. I'm hoping they can really iron out this AI and make it pretty useful, because unresponsive allies is annoying, but if you can get your AI squadron members to accommodate the player more, say like get out of their way when they're shooting, or pick out other threats the player is not currently shooting at, it could be a very interesting gameplay aspect. And if they were able to follow orders, like complex orders, like throw the grenade over there, or shoot that tank with the Panzerfaust, or lay some suppressing fire over there, it could be a pretty fun game and have the AI actually add something to it, not just make it so there's more targets. Though there also being more targets is something I very much like about Enlisted. You can make the battlefield feel more alive and active without needing a large number of players. The second dev blog, which came out on the 6th of June, was about their D-Day map. Unfortunately, we didn't get to play it, but it's sounding like a pretty interesting map. Starting out like it should, the US rushing the beachhead with little cover while Germans rain gunfire down on them. However, from the way it's worded, it sounds like this is just more like going to be a interactive cutscene or something, because they say for the first few seconds of operation. So it sounds like it won't really be part of the battle, and that no matter how hard the Germans defend themselves, they won't be able to keep the Americans back. But after that, it seems to go into what we had last time, where the Germans are defending, and they seem to have quite a few reinforced structures to defend themselves with. Though eventually, as the US take points, we'll go further and further into what seems like a township, with the second last sentence stating that the loss of the town will be the turning point. Having achieved such superiority, Allied forces will be able to deploy armored vehicles on large scale before the final stages of clearing the landing zone. Makes me very curious on how the map is going to play out. Hopefully we get a playtest so we can check it out ourselves soon, although we haven't really gotten on board on when the next one is going to be. The latest dev blog on the 10th was actually a Q&A from the devs, and they answered quite a few questions that really give us an idea of what and where Enlisted is going, and maybe even some hints on how it's going to be monetized. So let me read this out to you. The first two questions were asking if it's going to be on Steam, if it's going to be on the consoles. For Steam, they said that it was too early to say which launch platform it's going to be on, and currently it's going to be using the Gaijin launcher, the thing that starts up War Thunder, and they do have plans for it to be on the new generation of consoles, and that they're constantly working on performance improvements. The third question covers something that I've actually had problems with: joining the game with a friend, and a function for it should be in the next playtest. They're also thinking about other opportunities and advantages that being in a group could provide. It would be interesting if one of your friends could play as one of your AI squadron members, and perhaps then you could both be in a tank and one be a driver and one be the gunner. This would be a pretty fun experience. And also, depending on what kind of aircraft they add, say there's an IL-2 or something, or a Stuka, perhaps you could be the gunner and they be the pilot. The fourth question asks if 120 to 150 soldiers was the theoretical maximum for one session, or there's going to be some changes. And they stated that they had a successful session of up to 140 soldiers in one battle, with all the crazy stuff going on. Although this max number is not entirely up to what they have in their servers, but also up to what the players have as equipment. A larger amount of things going on is going to make it so only stronger and stronger computers can render all of that. But they are still working on optimizing it further, which is great because the game runs a little weird on my system and it's not weak by any measures. It's not the strongest out there and it needs a few upgrades, but it's not weak. Although they closed it with saying it is also worth noting that the more fighters per area, the greater the combat intensity is in the given area, and it is reasonable for players to give more room to maneuver so that the battle does not turn into chaos and a meaningless meat grinder. We'll try to realize greater freedom in other gaming modes with other combat missions, so then we can better imagine the upper technical and gameplay limits for different models, which, if I'm interpreting it right, means that they are planning to have some pretty expansive maps. The next one was about squadron progression and how all that is going going to work. And to separate the wheat from the chaff, each battle, like the Battle of Stalingrad or the Battle of Berlin, they are counting into what they're calling campaigns. And a campaign consists of many missions with different objectives and content, locations, weapons, and equipment, vehicles, and of course, nations. So the progression of a squadron will be isolated to a singular campaign. If you take out the machine gun squadron a whole lot, and you like that, and get to the top of the tree there, and a different campaign, your machine gun squadron will have the base equipment until you grind that one out as well. This whole campaign system that they're going forward with is interesting, and if you think about it, it's a good way to avoid the future creep that we are seeing in War Thunder. So instead of adding the M1 Abrams to the current tank tech tree and having the Maoists have to fight Cold War vehicles, those two will be separate in their own campaigns. So you could have, alongside the World War II stuff, modern military stuff, without someone having to grind through all of World War II to get to the modern things or the Cold War things. Although currently they seem to be completely focused on World War II, as they have said in other Q&As. And there's a question about localization, and they currently have in Russian, English, and plan to have in German, French, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. The following section was about gameplay, and the first question covered the campaigns and if progress is transferred. We kind of already went that. The one after that is about the size of the maps, and are they going to be big, as the current ones we have seen are kind of small. And it seems that they're still currently testing on what size map they are looking for. Too big of a map could be very annoying, because it's not very fun to have to get in a Jeep and drive for an hour before you get to the battle, especially if you just die right after that. But having too small of a map can also be an issue as you spawn and then die because the enemy's already at your gates. As an issue that we see in War Thunder a lot. Speaking of which, the next question covers vehicles. What ones are we going to see? And they're pretty broad with the answer, saying that you're going to see a large amount of different types of vehicles, and that the types will vary depending on what mission you're in. However, they do show an image of a Puma and a P-51. It's pretty nice to see those, especially I'm wondering how they're going to do aircraft, especially with the currently pretty small maps. And are they just going to copy paste War Thunder's controls? If so, is it going to be an arcade flight model or a realistic flight model or even a sim flight model? But honestly, I'm hoping to see some smaller vehicles like a Jeep or a half-track. And they further extrapolate on the types of vehicles we're going to see. In the terms of aircraft, it seems that there's not going to be AI aircraft, and they are planning to have strike aircraft and bomber be player controlled. Wonder exactly how big of aircraft they're going to go with this. Are we going to be able to fly B-17s? I think that'd be pretty cool, especially if you could jump to every single gunner seat. There was a big question about AI, but we kind of already went over AI. And they say in this question that they actually have a planned upcoming devlog to talk even more about the AI. So I think I'll skip this one for now and come back to it on a later date. But the following question is just as interesting, although much shorter, asking if we will be able to install cannons and make fortifications. And they say that they actually have that planned, and you'll have a special soldier in your squad who is specialized in construction. Makes me wonder how complex you can get with this, and what kind of things will be built. Like, will you be able to put up tank tracks, or could you like build a whole fort on top of a roof of a house? The following question was another no answer, asking for a more complex injury system instead of just having a health bar go down when you get shot. They unfortunately do not have that planned, but things could change in the future. And the final gameplay question is asking if bayonets are going to be useful on the guns, and they actually do plan to do this, which will be very cool. Bayonets aren't commonly made use of in video games, besides making the usual attack animation do more damage. I hope when they do eventually add Japan that you can do a bonsai charge and have your whole squad just attack at enemy's position. And the final two questions were for rendering graphics. The first one was cleverly disguised, but it's essentially asking, are we going to have ultra low quality exploits like we do in War Thunder? And they do state that there will be lower graphical options that we currently have, of course, that they're not going to give a player any significant advantage, which with Geist's track record is questionable. And the other one was about destructible environments. And they stated there's going to be no destruction of large buildings. And they gave two reasons for this, the first one being historical accuracy and the fact that tank shells aren't exactly the most destructive force at all, and most buildings were brought down by aircraft bombing. And the second one basically saying that if you destroy all the environment, the map becomes kind of boring, and they want to avoid that. However, they have a closing statement saying, at times we understand the importance of positional battles, and therefore, for example, log houses can be penetrated with large caliber weapons and even machine guns. We will continue to pay attention to such details in the future. Now there's another Q&A on their official website, right at the bottom of it, that answers kind of generic questions about the game, like how does it work and this and that. But there's some good questions here that explain probably how they're going to get money, but how other things function. For example, first question I'd like to point out is asking, how's the matchmaker going to work? And for public servers, it's going to be skill-based, so new players don't get immediately put into the meat grinder. However, private servers, there of course will be no matchmaking because it's a private server. And I wonder how far they're going to go with private servers. Am I going to be able to make it so you can only use knives or only use tanks in the battle. It'd be kind of fun. There's another question on how are they going to protect the game against cheaters, and they stated pretty much exactly how they protect the game from cheaters in War Thunder, which concerns me because unfortunately, despite all these measures, there's still cheaters in War Thunder. So with the introduction of private servers, perhaps you can manually filter them out. But also the game is going to be free to play. I know many people have been asking that question, but if it's going to be free to play, how exactly are they going to make money from it? But you can kind of get an answer from the question, what will access to campaigns look like when we need to install campaigns in separate game? What paid for options will there be available? And let me just read the answer verbatim so you can try to interpret yourself. We don't like the approach when the game is divided into several DLCs or episodes and is sold via season pass or imposing further editions, which is popular at the moment. Every player should decide whether he wants to play a certain game and spend his money with a understanding of what he'll get. That's why we've decided to make access to these battles independent of each other. Each campaign will be a separate game. However, a player who purchases more than one will see them all in the game as selectable chapters. Also, we don't want to impose microtransactions as an opportunity to purchase some sort of in-game advantage. A player will have an opportunity to get collectible weapons and characters that are different from others but do not offer in-game advantages, which is strange in the first place. A bullet to the head means death for any person after all, rather providing uniqueness and rarity. Someone should archive this page right now so when they eventually introduce the Object 120 of this game, we can use this as a point to complain to them. But another question that caught my eye when it comes to how this game's going to make money was someone asking if the game's going to have achievements, rewards, and all that kind of stuff. And their answer was, we would like to create an opportunity to barter weapons and characters between players. This would be something new for Warfare games. If the players are interested in this, it would bring significant diversity to the game. When I first read this, I thought, oh, like they'll have a marketplace that we could have with War Thunder. But then I was thinking, if they're claiming this to be something new for Warfare games, perhaps they're not meaning a marketplace like the Steam marketplace or the Gaijin marketplace, but like trading your guns for other in-game guns. It would be interesting. I'm cautious to accept the idea, though I would be very interested in exploring it. And the final question is asking about the release date. When are we going to be able to play Enlisted? And the answer with, we plan to launch early access in 2020. Before early access, there will be several stages of gathering opinion and feedback and adjustments to game balance. Closed alpha tests, closed beta tests, and early access on Steam. Alongside, we're eager to launch early access with a quality and feature set as close to the final version as possible. After early access launch, there will be only optimization, balance, and polishing work. Early access will last a few months. Now, if this stays true and they don't delay the game further, my assumption is this is going to pop up around Gamescom and reach final release near the end of the year, which I anticipate because so far I've had my fun with the game. And if it's free to play, well, no harm, no foul. If it sucks, I can just go back to War Thunder. And if War Thunder sucks, I can go to Enlisted. But that's just all the news and info I have on this game. Normally this video would be War Thunder Weekly News, but as I said in the beginning, a whole lot was happening. I do now have some information, but I'm gonna wait for next Sunday for that. Or maybe do a smaller intermediate video to cover some of the smaller stories. Tell me in the comments below if you'd like that. Anyways, to end this video, first of all, I thank my Patreon and YouTube members, starting with the Patreon. Red Fox, thank you very much. And for YouTube members, Peter Kliglinski, Nico Porkamaki, Laura Rat, I like them thick, Mehmet Hazarchi, Joab Lobsky, Tex, One Max, Roger Remis, Mighty Peppers, Pointless Gun 6, and Waffly Joker 6. A big thank you to all of you. Patrons and YouTube members get a unique Discord role, your videos upload a little bit early, and some benefits in my Minecraft server. By the way, I need to make a Minecraft stream. Maybe I'll do that this week. But if you care to join the Patreon or the YouTube membership, there should be links for both of those in the description. Now, if you like this video and you want to see more Enlisted content, be sure to hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I normally make War Thunder Weekly News videos every Sunday. However, as I said prior, this Sunday there wasn't exactly a whole lot of stuff to talk about. And I do wish to do more Enlisted videos as content for that starts coming out more often. But for now, I can't really keep a common schedule, and I'm just going to have to make videos on whenever they do release content for the game. I also stream on Saturdays, so be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. In the terms of bonus news, Enlisted is actually being developed by these guys called Darkflow Software, though they're being published by Gaijin. So I feel a little odd making Gaijin memes about a game not being developed by Gaijin, though there's no memes currently existing for Darkflow. Like, there's no Darkflow please memes. I feel as this game goes further and further in the development, we need to fix that and make some nice Darkflow memes.